Hello, hello, hello. Today we're going to discuss how to classify things in academic writing. And here we go. So take a look at this table about energy sources. What are the types of energy sources mentioned in this table? And can you think of examples of both types? Well, obviously, the answer is this table is about renewable and non-renewable energy sources, right? And can you please take a look at these 4 sentences down here below? What you need to do is, can you please check the punctuation in these sentences? Because all 4 of them talk about the same thing, or similar thing, but there's something wrong with punctuation. So can you please pause the video and think if the punctuation is correct or not? Doop-doop-be-doo. Well, okay, so I hope you have paused the video and you have thought about that. Well, this is the correct punctuation. Take a look at these 4 sentences. So what are they about? They're all about different types of energy sources, right? Energy sources are divided into 2 types here in this table. And so the meaning is the same. However, in the first sentence and in the 4th sentence, we have a colon, this little 2 dots. And in these 2 sentences, there's nothing. So what's the difference? If we have 4 sentences, the same meaning, kind of, but only 2 of them have colons. What do you think is the reason for that? You can again pause the video and think about it in your own time. And well, the answer is, first of all, in the first and the second, in the 4th sentence, we have the words types and groups. And after them, well, types of energy sources, renewable, non-renewable, 2 groups, renewable, non-renewable. So first reason why we have here a colon is because this renewable and non-renewable are what? What are they? They are the 2 types of energy sources, right? Or here, they are 2 groups. So we write what it is, and then we put a colon, and then we name these groups. Yeah, we talk about here 2 types of energy sources, colon, and here we name them, renewable and non-renewable. Here we talk about 2 groups, and then we put the colon, and we name them, give them a name, renewable and non-renewable. In the second and the 3rd sentences, we do not see any words like types, groups, kinds, or anything like this. Yeah, it's just the continuation of the sentence. Also, there's one more thing to pay attention to is take a look at these last 2 sentences. What will happen if you put a full stop instead of a colon? Like we say, energy sources can be classified into 2 main groups, full stop. What will happen? Does it sound right? Is it a good sentence? Because a full stop means the end of a sentence, right? So energy sources can be classified into 2 main groups, full stop. Yes, it's a good sentence because it has a subject and the verb, right? So we can put a full stop here and it will be fine. The same we can do in the last sentence. We can put a full stop instead of a colon and it will be fine. It will be a sentence, right? However, if you, for example, you want to put a colon in the first sentence after be, yeah, say you would write something like energy sources can be renewable and non-renewable. In this case, if we put a full stop instead of a colon, what will happen? Energy sources can be full stop. Does it make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. It's not a good sentence because the sentence should be continued with renewable and non-renewable. They can be renewable and non-renewable. You cannot say energy sources can be. Right? Or you cannot say energy sources can be classified into. No, absolutely not. So the rule is, if you can put a full stop instead of a colon, a colon can be used here, right? But if you cannot, then you should not use a colon. Da-da-dum, dum, 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 dum. That's the rule. All right. Also, one more thing I would like to talk about is the basis of classification. So can you think and how can you classify animals? I'm sure you know about animals. I know you've studied at school, or maybe you have already studied at the university. So how can you classify animals? Can you think of the ways? Can you pause the video and think of the ways you can group them or divide it into groups? Well, I can tell you about my options. Ding, ding, ding. So there are many ways actually to classify them. I have chosen just 3 of them. So the first way is we can divide them into domestic and wild. Domestic animals, wild animals. How? How can we do that? On the basis, based on whether they are domesticated or not, whether they're used in the household, like for milk, meat, or just as pets or not. Okay. So what about carnivorous, herbivorous, omnivorous? What is that? According to their feeding preferences, depending what they eat, they can be divided into these 3 groups: carnivores, herbivores, omnivores. Vertebrates and invertebrates. What's that about? Depending on the presence of a spinal cord, if they have a spinal cord or not. Yeah, some of them do, some of them don't. So depending on that, I know it's put my face, they are divided into these 3. So you see, there are many ways how we can divide the same kind of thing into groups. But what is different is the basis, based on which features, right? So if we want to mention the features, we can use these phrases based on, according to, depending on, blah, 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 yeah? And the thing is, if we put these phrases in the beginning of the sentence, it is a linking phrase, right? And we use a comma after that. We started with a capital letter and we put a comma after that and we continue the sentence. Yeah? Say, based on whether animals are domesticated or not, comma. They can be classified into domestic and wild, full stop. Yeah? If you want to put it in the middle of the sentence, that's also fine, but then you will not use any commas. Yeah? Only if you start a sentence with them. So, so that's all for now. Hope you understand it and have a quiz on Moodle. Bye!